All right, so I was asked a question a while back. Someone asked, how can they force someone to counter, right? Because they were saying that when they were playing, they were constantly trying to, I guess, hard read the opponent, and they were either being punished for getting the read wrong, or it just wasn't it just wasn't working out for them. So this is why I kind of wanted to get into like what I mean by creatures of habit, right? One very good example of that is like in Call of Duty Search and Destroy. You know, somebody's last alive, and you watch the gameplay of them acing the entire like the opponent team, the whole team. And if you look at the gameplay, you just see them reading reading human behavior, right? Just them anticipating how people react to things when they hear things, when they see things on the map, um, the directions that they move in, the routes that they take, and them reading that human behavior and then making their own play. Like, I don't know how else to really explain it, but everybody has like their own tendencies, right? They have their own, especially in Naruto, their own like flow, their own way of fighting, even if like they're not aware of it. Okay, so reading those flows, paying attention to those cues, right, of how the opponent reacts to what you do, or how they respond, or just human behavior in general. You know what I'm saying? Like how people kind of what they do when like they're out of resources, stuff like that, and stuff like that kind of comes with experience, right? Of reading players. Like sometimes, when I'm fighting somebody and I have them in combo, I can feel when they're going to sub. Like I know when they're going to sub, and I can set up a sub trap if I want to, right? Or I'll dash right on time with the sub, you know. Um, but if you're not getting the reads on the opponent or whatever, another way to read is you can read yourself, right? You can be aware of your own habits. So, for example, if in the neutral, let's say one of your approaches is always something like this. Okay, let's say you're always hopping in like that. You're always doing that. Okay, or let's say you're always doing something like this. All right, or let's say you have asthma, right? And you know you're really confident with that gel, so you always gelling, right? You're always doing that gel. So you know that that's a habit of yours, and mentally the opponent is like knows that this is something that you do. So next time you do one of these, hold it, right? Don't commit, right? Or next time you're on the opponent's guard, okay, right? And you do that first jail, that don't continue, right? Drop down into a grab instead. All right. So like read yourself. If you can't read your opponent, then read yourself. Read your own habits. And if you and like if you're aware of your own tendencies, you can use that to your advantage. Right? So um and then another thing to that too is sometimes if you're constantly trying to read somebody, right? You miss out on opportunities, right? Like a dash that would have connected if you just would have committed, right? Or a mash that would have connected if you just would have like been mashing or whatever. But instead, since you were looking for a counter, right, and you were just standing there or whatever, now the opponent's free. Okay, and a good example of this, I watched a PM with Adrian versus Mal. I don't know exactly how to say his name, but they were doing PMs, and Adrian had got knocked to the ground, and Mal was like he came up, and I guess he was looking for a counter. Like he thought Adrian was gonna roll up and counter, but so he's like kind of just like walking around Adrian's body as Adrian is rolling up, but Adrian rose up into mash, right? He just started mashing, and he actually like connected. So it's like in those times, that's something that you can do, right? If you know that your opponent is like your opponent is going to play patient, your opponent is going to be looking for counters, just punish that. Just mash or do whatever. Same thing with dash canceling. If you know your opponent is like back here, and you know they're gonna dash cancel in front of you or whatever, right? You don't have to just hold block or try to ninja move out the way or try to see if you can get off a lucky counter. Mash them. If your opponent is good at that dash canceling and they're constantly like, you know, up in your face like that, start pressing circle. You know, just start pressing circle. Or if you see them like hovering around you on wake up, or they do that and then like they're waiting, trying to bait a counter, press circle. You know, so that's something that you can do too. Um, and honestly, that in itself is a read. Um, but now let's say you're in a situation where you're constantly trying to read your opponent, and like you're getting them all wrong, like you're just reading wrong. Um, then take the guessing part out. So stop reading and start layering, right? So now you're still doing your dash cancels, but you're not just sitting here waiting and hoping that the opponent counters. Now you're doing dash cancels and you're doing that. Okay? You're confirming something. Where the opponent counters, where the opponent ninja moves, where the opponent want to try to smash, it don't matter at this point. Because now I'm doing layers now. Okay? Right now I'm doing layers. So just keep layering more and more and more and more, right? And take the guessing work out of it. Take that whole guessing part out and just start layering. You know, just start doing that. You can also do situations where you're forcing them to sub, right? So you're doing stuff like, okay, all right, you're forcing them to sub, and then since you know they're going to sub, right, or they're going to take that's just gonna be a free op for you. Call out Hanada or wherever your support are to like cover you, right? Or to put them back when they sub to put them back into block stun. You turn around and you do your follow up or whatever options you want to do. But so there's ways to like in that case to force your opponent to do what you want them to do, or just you know put them in to put them in lose situation. Like just put them in bad spots, right? Things like that. And kind of sub traps kind of work the same way, right? Sub traps kind of work the same way. I wanted to give one more really good example. I was fighting a player. His name was Ramen no Jutsu, and Ramen no Jutsu had this team right here, which is pretty annoying. Not gonna lie, but has some pretty good setups. Well, anyway, one of the things that he would do, and again, this is going towards human behavior, right? He would do this. He would do the IC2. He would short hop, right? IC2 short hop. Then he would start mashing again. Now, obviously, you can block that, right? But the thing about human behavior is, like, in Storm Connections, most people are expecting, they're waiting for somebody to do a dash grab. Okay? You see that a lot. So what players are normally doing is, when they're caught in a combo, they're already preemptively ninja dashing, because they're trying to avoid a dash grab. Okay, they're trying to avoid that, and so they're already preemptively ninja dashing. So now, if you do that, if you are already ninja dashing, okay, second Kage will catch you. Right? If you ninja dash to your left or to your right, you will still get hit by that IC1. Okay. So he caught me a couple of times like that because I was expecting to grab, so I was ninja moving, and then he got like a free reset on damage scaling, right? So then what I started doing is I said, okay, well let me adapt, because I can't have the option to just block. I don't want to counter because I figured he would bait that. So I'm like, and I don't want him to just get back on my block again because he has Hagoromo. Okay, so that still will be a free reset. He get me back to block, call Hagoromo, grab me. Okay, so what I decided to do was I said, since I can't ninja move to left or right, I'm going to ninja move backwards. Okay, so when he does this, okay, I'm doing this. I'm already ninja moving backwards. And that did work a couple of times where I got out of that, right? And then I was able to do whatever. So then what Rama started doing, he says, okay, well, now that you're ninja moving backwards, I'm going to start dashing now. So now he's doing this, okay, and now he's dashing. All right. So now I'm caught, like now I'm ninja moving backwards. Okay. So now I either have to counter to protect myself, right? Or switch out to protect myself. All right. Or otherwise, he's just going to be dashing and just again confirm another. That's another free reset on damage scaling, right? Um, so then, right, I said, okay, well, let me see if I can do something different. So now when he started doing this, right? When he started doing this, now he's waiting, right? He's waiting to see like what I'm going to do. So I start pressing circle. I said, okay, I'm going to mash now. So now when you're like when you're just doing this, or you waiting to see if I'm going to ninja move, or you're trying to bait a counter, I'm just going to start pressing circle. All right. So at that point, the only thing that Ramen could do would be to either counter my mash, right? Read that I'm just going to start mashing after that, or don't go for that reset and just go for something else, right? Or go for like you know, go for a reset like that. All right, but that's just something that I kind of wanted to like throw in there of. I thought that was a good example of again like human behavior, and it's also a good example of recognizing what's going on, what's happening, and then trying to adjust, trying to see like what can you do differently. Um, but yeah, that's it.